I'm sure there's something that we all wish we could change about ourselves, so we see the idea of perfect whenever we look at ourselves. Well, there is a way to change your genes before you're even born so you can fit that definition of what you say is perfect. Some people today may choose to control how their offspring ends up, and they can do this by CRISPR gene editing. I have researched this topic so I can inform you on how this wasn't maybe present in the last decade, but it is affecting our offspring, and it is definitely present now. How it works, what it is, the pros and cons of this CRISPR gene editing, and all the implications are important parts to this speech. Let's dive into what CRISPR is and how it really works. So CRISPR gene editing goes into the genes and edits anything out that they don't want. This is mutations, viruses, or it can even go to the hair color or the eye color or anything physical of the offspring. CRISPR stands for clusters of regularly interspaced short palindromic repeats. This just means that there's spaces in this is the DNA sequence. And these are the building blocks of DNA, which is just sequences of nucleotides. And within that sequence, there's spacers, and all of the spacers is what holds the viruses. So they go into those spacers and they take the virus out, and then that serves as a template. So then whenever you take the DNA strand, you make cuts. So where those cuts are, there's breaks because there's nothing left right there. And then they take that template from the ideal gene and put that into that space, so there's no more space. So then the whole entire DNA strand is exactly how you are wanting it to be. So it just cut, break, fill, and that's just how they would want it to be. Understanding how it works is a good thing to know, and now there's pros and cons to this CRISPR gene editing. One of the pros is for cancer, you can identify and modify the T cells that are identified in cancer, and we can find ways to get rid of it. And another way is to kill off the inherited diseases. So then whenever you have offspring, they wouldn't have the diseases, and then whenever they have offspring, they wouldn't have the disease either. And also by doing this, we can lengthen the lifespan because we can find the diseases that are killing these people so fast and figure out how to edit them out of our genes. This also will affect livestock because we can raise the medicinal value by editing the genes and how it affects us. And also we can make sure that the diseases aren't attacking the plants so hard, so then they're living longer. So then there's more of a supply for us. A con is, for cons, one of them would be an ethical issue because everything should be done how it should be done, and that's just how everyone thinks now. And then also we would be overpopulated if we had all of these people without, if there was no disease present at all, because people wouldn't be dying and then born, people would just keep living. And another is, if we kill everything that's bad, as we know, there could always be something that's worse, and then we don't know how to fix that. And also, children that figure out they were patients of gene editing, they would wonder why they weren't good enough for their parents in the first place and why they couldn't just be how they are. So this could also raise suppression rates. So now that we understand the pros and cons, let's dive into the implications. A social implication is this can help in the field of medicine because it cures diseases. And the way that they do this is they activate the agent and put it into an animal and see how it reacts. And then they can silence it to see if it reacts any different. And for legal implications, if you have a patent for gene CRISPR editing, then this is really good for your future investment because it's a big incentive. And an ethical implication is we see that the benefits have to be greater than the risks because this has to be presented to the public in a way they'll accept it, and a lot of people will deny it. So we now understand what CRISPR gene editing is, how it works, some pros, some cons, and the social, ethical, and legal implications. The people that choose to determine their offspring can do so by this CRISPR gene editing. So I guess we should decide, build a bear or build a baby.